Mental turmoil sucks. And when I say mental turmoil, I mean when your mind is getting the best of you and taking over everything. You can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't, all of those things because there's so much on your mind. It's so loud. You can't get it to stop. The thoughts are coming in and out so fast. It's like you're going in circles, like it's causing you to be dizzy almost. You can't function because there's so much on your mind. There's so many thoughts, so many decisions, and maybe you're even burned out and you're just like aggravated, upset, disappointment, overwhelmed, so many emotions. And for some people, you might describe this as numb because you're just so much going on inside your mind. Like everything in your brain is fighting against each other and you can't really function well because there's just so much going on in your head. This video is for you. It won't be long. It's a quick one. I just want to talk about some things I want you to consider if you're going through this because I've noticed a few key things that people experience when it comes to mental turmoil or what may be contributing to mental turmoil. And these may be true for you. And if not, I hope you find the relief you need and a starting point. Always feel free to contact a professional to further evaluate your personal situation to get the help you need because I don't believe you should get everything you need from the internet, but it could be a starting point. And I just want to be a starting point to lead you in the right direction. So hopefully something resonates with you to get that fire going and make you feel like and help you gain some hope that this is possible to get better in the future. I want to start off talking about conviction versus condemnation. Now, typically, I have definitions for y'all, but this time I don't. So bear with me and you can fact check me. But I am familiar with this, I believe, enough to talk about it, at least on the surface level, since I'm not your therapist anyway. It just seems like this. Welcome to my office. I should start the video that way. But anyway, sorry. I'm easily distracted. Conviction is if you are a believer in Christ, in Jesus, and God, and religion. Conviction is usually more spiritually related. And what your spirituality is your choice. I'm not here to argue which one you should be. I'm just saying that's where it's rooted in. Spirit, it's more of a spiritual conviction because it's the assumption or the idea that something inside of you due to a greater power is getting your attention about something. You know, kind of like tapping you on the shoulder or correcting you. It's like a internal correction, that internal compass or like a consciousness saying, don't do that or you shouldn't do that. Hey, apologize. Don't say that. Stop talking to them that way. Don't go to that. That's a conviction, usually, for most people. You may use some other words, like I said, moral compass, you're conscious, but that's how a conviction operates. You feel something in you that quickens you to say, oh, I shouldn't do this. This isn't right. I need to be doing this. Maybe I should feed the homeless. Maybe I should give this person. Maybe I need to call somebody, right? It's a quickening you have in your spirit to do or not to do something. Condemnation, on the other hand, spiritually is what we are told is not of God. Condemnation is more so of what mental turmoil is caused by. That is all the remorse, regret, fear, guilt, shame, embarrassment you have about something you've done or thought to do or thought about doing or may have wanted to do or done in the past life. And this is now the burden and the heaviness you feel because you did something you shouldn't do. Even if you didn't feel bad at the time, you feel bad now. The idea of doing it, the idea of someone finding out what you did or what you do in the privacy of your home, and things like that, that is more shame driven and to be said not of God. That is condemnation. And that is what usually drives mental turmoil because you're being beat up and you're bound by your acts, your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your words, the lack of these things. You should have done this, you should have done that. And why didn't you? You're beating yourself up. And that is causing you mental turmoil because you feel bad all the time and it's draining you. And I just want you to know it's not normal to feel that way all the time. We should all have some, I think, some moral compass or something guiding us to say what's right from wrong. But apparently, as a society, we are not agreeing on what's right and wrong. But everyone should have their idea of right and wrong, of what you should and shouldn't do in a general scheme of thing in society. The way you treat other people, we hear things like treat people the way you want to be treated or love thy neighbor. things like that. Respect people, respect this, you know, respect people if you want to be respected, things like that. We should have some guide. Ideally, we'd have some guide on what we should and shouldn't be doing based on different things. That could be based on culture, religion, race, all these other things, right? But most of us, for the most part, at some point in life, have an idea of like, oh, I shouldn't put this person off in the freeway because they could pum you because of road rage, right? That just wouldn't be wise. It's not a good idea. There's just certain things, someone upsets you, that doesn't give you a right to hit them. Those are things we kind of try to live by, most of us, right? And so those things keep us on the straight and narrow. The conviction you have of like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that keeps you on a straight and narrow path, so to speak. And if you do something wrong, something will say like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But you're able to say like, I apologize, or you're going to change. You may repent, and do things differently. But when there's condemnation, you feel like someone's watching. You feel exposed. You feel vulnerable. You're scared. It's so much other things going on, and it's just a weight that you're carrying because you shouldn't have done it, or you should have done this instead. And maybe if you would have done this a few minutes sooner, and maybe if you would have called them, and maybe if you didn't yell at them, and maybe if you didn't hang up in their face, and maybe you shouldn't have cut them off 2 years ago. That is condemnation. And that is leading to mental turmoil. And that is not normal to feel that way all the time. It is normal to feel regret and shame in short periods of time, so that you know, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, because you want to live to a certain standard. But if you are bound by this, meaning you can't function, think straight, you're no longer accomplishing your goals, you're now spiraling, you're having increased anxiety and depression and things like that, it has gone beyond the normal limits of those things. And you should see somebody, get some help. That can be in community, that can be in your church, that can be in therapy, right? But I just want you to know you should not feel that way excessively. Okay. A lot of people also experience mental turmoil because they feel indebted to people. And this is not always money related. It's not that someone gave you money or paid for something and you have to pay them back. But a lot of children grow up to be adults who feel like, oh, this person or this parent did all this for me, so I have to do this. And that is cultural for some people. That if your parents did all this for you, you go to college, you make good money, and you are supposed to take care of your parents because they took care of you. I don't agree with that, because to have kids, to expect to have kids just to have someone take care of you older is selfish. And maybe having kids in general is selfish, but I think if you only did what you need to do just for it to be given to you later, that's, I don't know if that's love. I'm gonna say that. I don't know if that's love, to say I'm only taking care of you because I want you. And then sometimes those people don't do a good job taking care of you. They hurt you, they take advantage of you. There's a lot of psychological and emotional things happening along the way. And then they want you to repay them. Repaying you would be to treat you how you treated me growing up. I didn't experience that, but I know people have. But you're like, oh, you owe me your life because I sacrificed all this to put a roof over your head. You legally have to do that. If you're gonna have a kid, when you decided to have a kid, you also agreed to putting a roof over their head and feeding them. What are we talking about? This is a serious conversation today, but I just want y'all to hear some of this stuff out loud of how it sounds. You're telling me, because it was your legal obligation to care for me, it is now my obligation to take care of you when I'm an adult. I don't know that math. I just don't. But when people grow up in situations like that, and then some people just grow up and they feel bad because their parents didn't have the most, but they know they did the best they can, and they love and respect and care for them, it just in general, and they're like, oh, I want to do all these things because they did everything. When you feel indebted to somebody, that can create mental turmoil. And I just want to ask you if that's you. I'm not here to make fun of you, talk about you, judge you for it. If you find that you feel like you owe someone your life or everything you have, or you have to do this person, I have to send them money, or I have to, anytime they call, I have to help them out because of all this stuff. Reciprocity is great. I think reciprocity is great for all relationships, mutual respect. But when you are going to the point where you are repaying someone for the rest of your life, and that's what I'm talking about, indebted, I want you to ask yourself and answer for yourself, how much does it take to pay them back? Are you paying them with your heart and soul for the rest of your life? And I say this because when people feel like they owe people for being kind to them, sometimes just being generous in general, maybe they did something for one time and now the rest of their life they spend their life paying them back for this one thing they did for them. I think that's nice in theory, but if you are bound by it, again, the mental turmoil, when is that debt settled? How much does it cost to repay them? How do you thank them enough? And I ask you that because a lot of times this person never felt like you were in debt to them anyway. In certain situations, there's no debt and they don't need this, and they know you appreciate them, and they did it out of love and they never expected anything in return. And so it's not even them holding, sometimes that does happen, but it's not them holding it over you. It's the mental turmoil. It's the condemnation of like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I got to do this. Why? Says who? How much do you owe them? When is it paid off? When is the debt settled? For some people, there's an answer to that. And for others, there's not. And I just want you to be clear where you stand in that, because your mental health is suffering as a result of you constantly feeling indebted, especially if you feel indebted to multiple people. So I just want you to think about that. Lastly, your thoughts influence your decisions. Okay. And what you do matters. Your thoughts also influence what your thoughts influence your dreams, your thoughts influence your demons and things like that, but not more than what you can do. How you think can change anything and everything you do, because it starts as a thought and then you believe it and then you feel it and then you act on it, or you live your life according to that thing. So you have to change the way you think. And that's what happens a lot of time in therapy. I'm always going to refer to that, not because I'm saying everybody should go to therapy, even though I do believe everybody could benefit from therapy, but because I'm a therapist, I'm speaking from a therapist's point of view, that the way you think can change your life. And changing how you think now can change everything you've experienced so far. So whether you feel indebted to people, or whether it's conviction versus condemnation, whatever thoughts you're having, come to terms with them. Write them down. When you feel that condemnation come up, write them down just so you can see them. So you can say, why am I telling myself? Why am I thinking that? Or maybe you did owe somebody money, but maybe you paid them back. Why do you still feel like you owe them? You paid them back years ago. I just want you to see and be aware of what you're thinking, because what you think influences the rest of your life. It influences how you treat people, it influences how you treat others, it influences the way you move through the world, and it can be hurting you more than it's helping you. And I don't want that for you, and I don't want you to want that for yourself. So I just want you to free yourself today and relieve yourself of any condemnation. One, because it's not of God. Two, it's not going to help you. A lot of these things we hold on to thinking it's going to help us, make us better, it's going to hold us accountable. It will also hinder you and make you sick, literally, because you start as mentally sick and you can become physically sick, because it all goes together. And so that's why I say change the way you think, change the way you think about things. Whatever you are thinking about, write it down, come to terms with it, and challenge yourself, challenge your thoughts. That's not even true. Is that true? Where did I get that idea from? Why did I start saying that? Why did I start doing that thing? And you can kind of start getting to the bottom of this, maybe even by yourself if you're diligent enough. I will say a lot of things you can do on your own without a professional. The thing is, a professional will guide you to do this in a healthy way. And with someone helping you through that process, you probably will get through it a little quicker and safer than you would on your own. But you also probably could be pretty successful on your own, because there's a lot of ways to become self-aware and work on your mental health outside of getting therapy. So I do want to make that abundantly clear that you can do this work in other ways. But you're doing it at your own risk at that point, and you don't really have the feedback to know if you're going about it the best way or the right way. So I hope you feel better soon. I hope you are able to let it go. I did make a video on the art of letting go. If you're stuck somewhere, I made a video on you're not really stuck, you just feel stuck, and how to work through that and some other things. And help is available to you. Find what works for you that is healthy for you and helpful to you without harming yourself and other people. And know that it can get better. I'm not guarantee you that it will, but it's possible. But it may be hard, but you can do hard things. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's impossible.